Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, we'll be talking about multi-time frame analysis, and today I've got an easy 3-step method for you guys so you can fully understand multi-time frame analysis. A lot of people try to overcomplicate it, but this 3-step method should simple things down. So guys, let's just get straight to it. I do have a trade example using this method on AUDCAD, which I took recently, which we'll break down in a second, but first go through the basics and then we'll get into the live market conditions. So as you can see here on the left, we've got direction, entry area, and entry confirmation, and these are in fact 3 steps to the method. So the idea, what we're looking at is we want one time frame for direction, preferably a higher time frame, another time frame for our entry location to work out where we want to enter the market depending on our higher time frame bias, our directional bias, and then we want to use a time frame for entry confirmation. So for example, for me, I tend to use the higher time frame. So for direction, I'll be using the daily. For entry area, I normally use the 4H, and entry confirmation, again, I normally use the hourly time frame. And this allows us to increase our risk to reward by having a smaller stop loss and maximizing our reward, because we'll be using the hourly time frame to enter, or whatever time frame you're looking to enter, and also utilizing direction and targets on a higher time frame. As a result, we can stretch the trade a lot further and maximize our risk to reward, and also add confluence to the trade because we're in line with multiple time frames. So as you can see here, we've got a bullish market here, higher highs and higher lows. Let's just use this as a daily, for example. Again, you can use this as a 4H, an hourly, a 50-minute, 50-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute. It works the same thing. Just for me, I use the higher time frames. So let's just say we've got a bullish trend here on the daily time frame, making higher highs and higher lows. So I know from a daily perspective, I'm only looking to buy the market and continue that trend. So that's my directional bias tick. I've used the daily to work out my direction, and now that's all I need to do. Now coming to the low time frame 4H, now I'm looking for areas where I can actually trade that bias, trade that direction, and say we come to an area of demand or a retest of a range or support and resistance, wherever you look to buy the market. I do have videos on entry levels, so make sure you go check that out under my Forex education playlist. I'll probably leave a link to that in the description below. But as you can see here, approaching a nice little range. Here we could be looking for our entries here on the 4H. Then we can drop to our hourly time frame, or the time frame of the lowest you're using to enter, and again use your entry confirmations. Again, I do have video on entry confirmations as well. Make sure you go and check that out. Engulfing candle here, my most traded probably entry confirmation that I use. Look for that, enter the trade, stop loss underneath the level, underneath the candlesticks, then you can trade your higher time frame bias. So that's all it is. And again, you don't necessarily need 3 time frames as well. You could use 2. You could use 1 for directional purposes. So for example, you can use the daily, and then for your entry area and entry confirmation, you can combine that and just use 1 time frame. So for example, if I have a bullish bias here on the daily, higher highs and higher lows, I can drop to the 4H time frame, work on an area of interest, and then simply just use the 4H candlesticks to enter the trade and trade it like such. Although the risk to reward won't be as good, because hourly time frame you can get closer to your entry level and a tighter stop loss, but again, it doesn't overcomplicate it, and you can just use 2 time frames, 1 for directional purposes and 1 for entry area, entry level, and entry confirmation. So hopefully that made sense. I will show you a live example on AUDCAD, so where we put these steps together. But yeah, guys, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so welcome to AUDCAD on the daily time frame. So like I said, I'm just going to talk you through a trade that I took recently using this 3-step method. And again, for me, I utilize the higher time frame. So my directional time frame is the daily, 4H is where I'm looking for my entry levels, and hourly is where I'm looking for my execution and entry confirmation. So I believe the market was trading around about here-ish when I was looking for my entry. So you can see from a daily perspective, the market is bearish, consistent lower lows and lower highs. You can even see by the recent price action, consistent lower lows and lower highs here. You can even use a trend line just to illustrate that point a little bit further. So I'm looking for sells. Clearly, I do have a bearish directional bias here for AUDCAD. I'm looking for that trend to continue, and higher time frame targets, I'm looking for the market to come and hit this support and take out those lows and just basically continue the trend. So from a daily perspective, I'm looking at more downside. So that's my directional column ticked. Now I can drop to my 4H time frame where I'm looking for my entry levels to actually start to trade this bias. Now I can see we had this beautiful level here of resistance where the market was struggling to break through. As you can see, beautiful resistance 1, 2, bit of a fake out there for a third time. So I know as long as we stay underneath this, most likely the market will form a lower high just to continue that higher time frame daily bias. We can see the market is pretty corrective and doesn't really flow too nicely on the 4H. So as long as we don't break through that resistance, we're expecting the market to roll over to the downside. So now I'm looking for my entry confirmations. So if I drop to the hourly time frame, I'm looking for the market to come back and retest this area to sell it into that zone. So if we click play, you can see the market moving nicely. It does tap the zone here, but unfortunately for me, it doesn't give me an entry confirmation. I'm looking for at least, you know, an engulfing candle or some type of candlestick pattern that shows me a rejection of momentum and that we're seeing the bearish momentum come back in. You can see we did have some nice wicks there, but no real change in momentum. And then we finally got a change in momentum, but you can see here's 8 o'clock coming into 9 o'clock, which is the end of the day. So for me, that's out of session. So I'm going to be waiting for the next day to see if I can get my entry. So if I click play, you can see, I think we did have some news here, so the market did dump, but luckily for me, the market did come back and retest the level, as you can see there. And I was waking up around here on this candle here, which closed at 10 a.m. UK time, which is where I entered the market. Stop loss above the zone. And again, trading it back down to that daily support level, which you can see here around that level there. So again, utilizing the entry level, the entry confirmation, and the higher time frame bias, giving us those 3 steps to trade the market. Again, nothing complicated, just making sure, you know, we've got the higher time frames in our favor, or whichever time frame you have in your favor, whether it's the 4H, the daily, weekly, hourly, whatever it is, as long as you've got multiple time frames in our favor. You know, we're using multi-time frame analysis. So I entered the market there, and if I just click play, you can see it did play it quite nicely, and the market come and tap that zone, and eventually it did go and break through and see more downside, as you can see there. So again, this is an easy 3-step method to utilize higher time frames and multi-time frame analysis. You can add more time frames to this. So for example, for me, using the daily time frame, sometimes I do add the weekly and the monthly to that, just to get more information in my directional bias. And then 4H I'll use for my entry levels, and hourly I use for my entry confirmations. Sometimes you can even drop to the 30-minute as well, but that comes with a bit more experience and a bit more understanding of how the system works. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Again, like I said, it's not just for the higher time frames. You can use this in the lower time frames as well, and you can use 2 time frames if you want to, or multiple, but I do recommend stick with 2 or 3, and then you can look to work from that. And as you get better, you can probably add more charts, more analysis, and more information to the method. But guys, I hope you have found this video useful. Any type of video, any type of content you want to see on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below. I will check it out, and I probably will come up with a video for you guys. So yeah guys, I hope you have found it useful. Please be sure to hit the like button. It does really help the channel out. Subscribe if you haven't done already. If you are enjoying the content and liking what you're seeing on the channel, please do subscribe and join the family. But yeah guys, hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all next time.